So it turns out Topo is not the god of destruction that we all thought he was. I got the spoilers ass backwards. Vegeta gave us a serious case of deja vu, and now that Topo's out, Jaron is done messing around and it's time to get serious. This is my review for Dragon Ball Super episode 126. Let's get it. So with only 4 minutes left in the tournament, we are down to 4 versus 1. That is Goku, Vegeta, 17, and Frieza versus Jaron. And yes, I said Frieza. I know a lot of people were a little confused at that ending because they didn't see Frieza in that little picture, but Frieza is definitely still in there. He did not get eliminated. If he would have, they obviously would have shown it. I think that they're leaving Frieza out at the end on purpose just to kind of throw people off, kind of to try to get people to forget that he's even still around, because I think he's definitely going to be involved with some kind of twist at the end now. What kind of twist that is, I can't really say, but just the way that the writers ended it this week kind of reassures me that for sure he's going to be involved in something later on. Now, as far as the episode is concerned, I cannot lie, like, when I first saw this episode, I was not too crazy about it. I was a little disappointed. I had a lot higher expectations for it. But after watching it a second time, I grew to like it a lot more than I did the first time. With that being said, I want to go ahead and get straight into the ratings for this week's episode. Now, if you're new to my reviews, it's a very simple system. It's just based on a scale of 1 to 7. Like I said, when I first saw it, I honestly would have said it was maybe a 5. But after watching it a second time, I'm going to go ahead and say that it was a solid 6-star episode. Now, before you guys start even flaming me about why I even thought of giving it a 5-star review, I'm going to go ahead and break down why, like, what it is I liked about the episode and what are the things that I definitely thought they could have improved on to make the episode a lot better than what it was. Once again, these are all just my opinions. I'm not saying that my word is God. Like, I'm just saying these are the things that I feel that they could have changed to give the audience a much more enjoyable experience watching this week's episode. But maybe you're not like me. Maybe you really enjoyed the episode and you thought that I got it wrong. But if that's the case, after hearing what I have to say, go ahead and leave your comment down below to let me know what you thought of this week's episode. But I really just want to say before I start getting into things that I am really sorry. I got the spoilers a little mixed up when I was talking about what happened in episode 125 and what happened here. So I had said that the spoilers were off last week when they said that 17 was going to be attacking with rocks and Frieza was going to be attacking with psychic abilities. And that was meant for episode 126. And for some reason, I read it as those were the spoilers for episode 125. So they weren't off. I just read it wrong. I was backwards on that and I apologize. But speaking about that, so I just thought it was a really dumb thing for them to add in the episode that 17 was going to use rocks to try to beat Topo. Like, how, I don't understand. Like, we've seen the kind of damage that these guys have, like, deflected. And you really thought as a writer that, oh, I know what'll get the audience in suspense. We'll make a bunch of rocks collapse on him. That'll make them think that Topo is down. Like, why in the world would you ever think that that was something to even put in the episode? Like, that was just dumb. Like, that's what I originally had the problem with this episode, because first it started off really slow. Like, they gave us a lot of the repeated footage from last week, from 125, and like, you're just getting lazy at that point. Like, there's no need to re-show all that. Like, we saw it. And on top of that, you already showed us that before the episode, before the title card. So you're really just like milking, like not having to put more into the episode than what you have to, I guess. And then, so you get that. And then right after that, then you get 17 doing his rock thing to Topo. So right off the bat, I was already like, are you guys shitting me? Like, this is what you're going to give me? Like, I really thought this was going to be a great episode. And then you guys give me this nonsense. So just that alone, if you just got rid of those things alone, already instantly the episode's 10 times better. I don't care if you made the episode 5 minutes shorter and you just didn't show 5 minutes worth of crap that you did. Like, at least when Frieza was using rocks to attack Topal, he was at least using some kind of ability and throwing them at him. He wasn't just making rocks like just fall on top of Topal. Like, that's ridiculous. But speaking of Frieza, I was really surprised to see him up and in action again. I knew that the writers are already going to do some kind of thing where they just have him lurking and they almost don't talk about him for a while, just so that way that you almost forget that he's still even around. And so I really thought that they weren't going to be showing him at least for a couple of episodes, maybe. Well, I mean, we're down to only 5 more episodes now. So I thought there would at least be 2 episodes where we wouldn't even see him at all, including this one. And then next week we wouldn't see him. But they decided to have him pop back up. And honestly, I'm really glad that they did, because this dude Frieza just makes me love him more and more every episode. This dude just got whooped to within an inch of his life last week. And now he's back up talking shit to Topo. I can't get enough of this dude. It really makes me sad that they're going to have him lay low for a while, because I want to see more of him. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, they're going to have him lay low probably for an episode or 2. More than likely, he'll probably pop back up in episode 128. But let's move on and talk about Topo right now. So it turns out that Topo would have been a pretty shitty God of Destruction. Let's just say that Belmod would have retired and it would have been his first day on the job. And someone as strong as Vegeta shows up, you just got worked and you are the God of Destruction of your universe. Like, that is crazy. There's no way that anyone should be close to your level. Like, we get Jaron was stronger than a God of Destruction. They never specified which one, but that's different. It's because Jiren's power is unfathomable. Like, we know that. Vegeta just got a huge boost in power, but he's nowhere near even Jiren's level yet. So the fact that you are a candidate, or not even a candidate, you are now a God of Destruction, well, apprentice, and you just got beasted by someone as strong as Vegeta, that's pretty sad for being a God of Destruction. And before people start going crazy, being like, well, it's because if he was a real God of Destruction, he would have been able to Hakai him and this and that. He was trying. Topo changed his slogan from justice every 5 seconds to Hakai every 5 seconds. And he was Hakaiing all the rocks and everything around him. So he was trying to Hakai Vegeta. It just wasn't happening. So don't give me this nonsense that, oh, if this wasn't part of the tournament and he was allowed to kill him, this and that. It doesn't matter. Topo just didn't have what it took to take Vegeta down. But I'm going to go ahead and do you a favor and I'm going to argue for you guys. So I guess you could make the argument that maybe Topo was a pretty shitty God of Destruction right now because it technically was his first day on the job. And so even though, yes, he decided to embrace this God of Destruction role now, he just would have went on, like, let's say Universe 11 would have won the tournament. They would have went back to their business. He just would start training like fully as a God of Destruction. So he wouldn't even have to take over until he fully gained controls of his powers and he was ready to. So yeah, just because he became his new form doesn't necessarily mean that he was ready to take on the actual role of God of Destruction. So I guess you can make that argument and I'll give you that, but it was a little bit underwhelming to see him get this new power and be like, oh, this is dope. This dude's crazy now. It's going to be nuts to see him fight Vegeta. And then Vegeta like gets this crazy boost in strength and then he starts working Topo. So I guess that brings me to my next point, to where I was a little disappointed in this sense. I wanted to see a slugfest. Like, I didn't like that Vegeta got this huge boost in power while fighting him and then he just started botting the shit out of Topo. Like, that didn't make sense to me. That's not what I wanted to see. It would have made more sense if they were slugging it out and then this is the part that didn't make sense, is that Vegeta was whooping Topo hard. Like, Topo couldn't even handle him. And then for no reason at all, Vegeta decided, all right, now I'm going to blow myself up. But why? You were already winning the fight. That should have been a desperation move. So if they were slugging it out and then Vegeta was just like, oh, I just can't overcome him. Like, we're too evenly matched. I'm going to have to bust this move out in order to take him out. That would make sense for them to do, but that's not what happened. So I was a little confused in that part, to where it didn't really make sense for Vegeta to pull that ace like out that early. But so I'm going to go ahead and argue against that again right now. And maybe the reason why Vegeta did this is because remember all those times that we saw Vegeta breaking the Room of Spirit and Time, aka the Hyperbolic Time Chamber? Maybe that's what Vegeta was working on. Maybe he knew that he wasn't going to kill himself while performing this attack. Maybe he was trying to figure out a way to unleash all that power without taking himself out with it. That could be the only real explanation that I can see as to why Vegeta would use a move like that when he was clearly winning the fight. But at the same time, he should have known that it was going to leave him drained. Like, you saw him afterwards, he was very, very drained. Like, I don't know how he's going to continue to fight against Jiren now, because he looks like he was in the same shape Goku was after he got done with his Ultra Instinct. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to turn out next week. But I want to touch on Vegeta's final explosion that he used. So a lot of people predicted that this was the move that he was going to be using when we got the title for the episode in the spoilers earlier. Now, I thought those people were crazy. I thought that was dumb. I was like, there's no way that that the writers would have him use the same attack that he used in the Majin Buu arc. Like, that would be too repetitive. It would be too predictable for them to do. And honestly, if it wasn't for the spoilers for episode 127, where we knew that Vegeta was going to still be around, I would have been so shocked when I saw it actually happen in episode 126. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one on the spoilers. Once again, if we didn't have the dumb spoilers, then the episode would have been a lot better, because I would have been like, oh my god, Vegeta actually took himself out to eliminate Topo. Like, that's so crazy. That would have been a lot more hyped and the episode would have been a lot better. But because I knew that Vegeta was still going to live, it kind of ruined it for me, and it like lessened the shock factor of it. So again, it's not the episode's fault, but it did. I'm just saying, from my personal viewing experience, knowing that Vegeta was going to be around, it really just made that whole sequence be like, okay, that's cool and all, but I know you didn't blow yourself up. But moving on, so Topo gets eliminated, and he's now in the stands, and he's looking over at Jaron, and he's like, Jaron, I got knocked out. It's all up to you now. And a shock to me, but Jaron looks back over at Topo, and he says, how pathetic. I expected more from you. Like, I didn't know that Jiren had this kind of attitude. Like, I thought he was an honorable dude, and he would have, been a little upset that his friend got knocked out, and that he, obviously is disappointed, but I didn't think that he would look down on Topo for it. It's not really Topo's fault. Topo sacrificed his beliefs in order to try to save the universe, and it just wasn't enough. So it's crazy to see Jiren have this kind of, I don't know how to explain it, this kind of mentality, I guess. Like, even Goku was shocked by it. He's like, dude, that's your boy. How can you tell him that? And Jiren's like, shut your mouth. Like, this dude's getting ruthless. And on top of that, he's like smiling about the fact that Vegeta beat him, and now he's about to like whoop on all them. Like, he's starting to remind me a lot of how Vegeta used to be. Like, I'm seeing a lot of similarities, like the way that he's cocky with his power right now, that he doesn't really care that his friend just got knocked out. He's looking at him as weak, and he doesn't even deserve to be like in the same universe as him. So it's really crazy that we're seeing this come from Jiren when he was just this like quiet, calm dude this whole time, and now he's like grinning and shit. Like, it's going to be pretty crazy to see what Jiren is going to be doing these next couple episodes, because it looks like we're finally going to get to see Jiren's, true personality and who he really is, because there's been a lot of mystery about him. And if his personality keeps unfolding the way that it's going, a lot of people are going to be shocked, because everyone thought that if Jiren won this thing, he'd have this selfless wish to where he'd probably restore everything, or maybe his backstory was that he lost his family or some shit like that. But it doesn't look like his personality is who we all thought he was this whole time. So it's very interesting to see this development in his character. I don't know if it's because he's getting excited at the fact that he's like finally getting a challenge in his life, because he's been so powerful that he's probably honestly just bored. And that's why he's looking for something beyond just strength, because there's been no one to match him in his strength. But now that Goku and Vegeta are kind of, pushing his limits a little, he's enjoying this. So it's a very, very interesting development in Jaron's character. I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. So all in all, it turned out to be a pretty good episode after watching it again for the second time. The animation was really good. I liked a lot of it. We got a lot of really cool scenes from it. The action, tons of action. And on top of that, we got an elimination. So yeah, pretty great episode. Once again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys agree that it was a 6-star episode, or if you guys think that it was higher or lower. Let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know what your thoughts are on some of my complaints about the episode. Do you guys agree with me, or do you guys think that I'm just getting a little too nitpicky now that we're getting down to the last few episodes of the series? And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up to show your support, and don't forget to subscribe if you are not already, and don't forget the notification bell. You guys can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook, where I'll be posting a lot of my AMVs that I'm working on, because I don't want the copyright strikes here on YouTube, so I'm going to post them on my Facebook page. Also, I'm going to start streaming fighters soon on my Twitch account. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below. You guys can check that out. I haven't started streaming yet, but I'm going to pretty soon. I've been trying to get the layout like all situated and stuff, but yeah, it's going to be coming soon, and I'll let you guys know when. But thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.